Startup Podcast page is co-produced by One CFO, Credit Hero, Y Spaces, Simp, Tuala, Gig Genius, Schooltech Bedfolio, and Red Circle Global. Check out our partners in the description.
Welcome sa Startup Podcast PH, inspiring more Filipino entrepreneurs and innovators. Live tayo ngayon dito sa Y Spaces BGC, our official co-working space partner. And we have a special episode, isang community, isang Facebook group na actually napakalaki. Nagulat ako sa sobrang laki na niya. And ang active and ang ganda na mga posts dito related to tech, to startups, to IT. So ano tong group na to? Ito ay IT Philippines. And we have its founder, Sir Ruel Napal. Hello, Sir Ruel. Kamusta?
Hello. Kumusta sa mga listeners and sa mga viewers natin ng Startup Podcast Philippines. Thank you sa pag-invite. And, ganda pala ng Y Space. This is my first time actually.
Actually, first time din ng Startup Podcast, not sa Y Spaces, so we've been partnered with you since last year. Pero itong meeting room na ito. But anyway, about IT Philippines, nagulat ako actually, sir, kasi when I saw the Facebook group, kanina sa chikahan natin, medyo matagal na pala itong Facebook group na ito. May mga stories, paano siya nag-grow. Ngayon kasi 6 digits na yung members and thousands yung posts everyday. Grabe, So gusto ko din later ma-ask paano nag-build and paano nag-manage ng ganitong community, especially tech, And what piqued my interest the most kasi, so Startup Podcast is about startups, mostly tech startups, and ang dami ding mga nag-post dito about IT, but also about startups, So later I'll ask about yung story, pero siguro in a very, just to briefly answer the question, ano nga ba, Sir Roel, ang IT Philippines?
Actually, IT Philippines is a community group for the IT people who are into technologies, startups, helping others. Kasi the story behind IT Philippines is actually to help other people out. Kasi nung panahon ng pandemic, nagkaroon ng separations kasi nga kanya-kanya tayo na sa bahay. So I built that, yung IT Philippines, because of that. And then
During pandemic? During lockdown?
During the lockdown. Well, it's not really during the lockdown, but nag-peak siya nung nagkaroon ng lockdown.
I see. Okay.
So, around 2019. Pero malapit na din sa pandemic mga time na yun. So, yun. Di ko naman akalain na lumaki siya ng ganyan actually. But the first namin doon is para makatulong sa community, IT community, talk about codes or network, and work na rin and hiring. So, actually, nung mga time na yun, ang daming nagpo-post sa IT Philippines ng mga jobs. Yun nga lang, siya yung mga low rank na post. So, ginawa namin, tinanggal namin yun. Kasi nagkakaroon lang siya ng walang engagement. So, pag walang engagement, lalo kang ida-down sa ranking ni Facebook.
Still filling out loan applications for your business? Yeah, thought so. Save your time. Grow your business. With Credit Hero, one online application gets you loan offers from multiple lenders. Apply for a business loan now. Visit credithero.com.
At saka, you mentioned, sir, during pandemic, kasi nung pandemic, nagkahiwalay yung mga tao, hindi makalabas. So, nag-focus din sa, lalo yung mga IT people, mga developers, nag-focus sa paggawa ng sarili-sariling projects, but to have an avenue for people to talk, communicate, share, help, and possibly nga, even if pandemic, magkatrabaho, kung baka may nag-hire even if pandemic kasi remote, diba? So, yun ba, sir, yung reason? Or ano yung why? Why you really push that button and created the Facebook group IT Philippines?
Okay. It's actually a little bit of backstory. I started IT Philippines to help people then to share. There's an avenue to share your knowledge sa Facebook. There are lots of community, IT community already. I've been in the community for how long na? Since I started in the IT, so mga around 2010. But there is no general areas o communities na kung saan nagsama-sama sila. There are Python Philippines, there are WordPress, there are maraming
Bawat language. Bawat
iba-iba. Nagkakaroon ng tribalism. So, sabi ko, what if I will build a group or community na kung saan nandun lahat. Nandun yung nandun sila na hindi mag-away-away because of the language or the tools that they use for their work. We just have a community to share your knowledge, any knowledge. So, doon nagkaroon ng idea kung bakit IT Philippines. And the other thing is, actually, I am a self-taught programmer. So, hindi ako nag-aral ng IT.
Self-taught.
So,
YouTube University ba yan? Or
back in my time,
or Khan Academy?
YouTube.
Or, okay.
Yeah,
So, saan?
I started mga around 2004, 2005. YouTube kasi is 2006. So, wala pang YouTube. Nag-aaral na ako. Libro talaga.
Or forums. Mga forums pa lang.
May mga forum before. I'm not sure if, familiar ka, Danny Web. So, yun, forum yun dati. Tas Linda. Linda is actually yung LinkedIn Learning. Linda dati yan. So, pero hindi ako maka-purchase niyan kasi mahal yan yung mga panahon na yun. But that's my starting point. And that's also one of the reasons why I created IT Philippines, to have an avenue to share your knowledge and ideas na at least free. Some of them are monetized, some of them are offering tutorials, workshops, but that's okay. So, yan yung core goal ng IT Philippines.
Just sir, hukayin ko lang ng audio story, no? Kasi you were self-taught nga, no? Bakit IT yung pinuntahan mo? I mean, you could have gone, I don't know, any other career, pero anong meron sa IT at yun ang gusto mong aralin? Self-taught pa. So, meaning talagang sinaga mo aralin from scratch. So, bakit nga?
Alright. And ito, medyo back story ulit. So, my first job is actually AutoCAD. So,
AutoCAD.
So, my
Drafting, I mean...
drawing.
Drawing, yes.
Ng mga planning. So, my course kasi is actually civil engineering.
Still engineering.
Engineering ako. So, that's my first job. And that time, yung job na yon is, talagang ako nagde-design ng floor plan. So, yung company ko, medyo maliit lang. But ako lang yung nag-iisang isang AutoCAD doon. So, one time, nung nasa office ako, may dumating na tao na siya yung umupo doon sa computer ko. Kasi yung computer ko, back in 2004, yung Pentium 4, yun yung
oh my God. Yes, naabutan ko yan, sir. Yeah.
Yun yung pinakamalakas na computer before. I think mga 250.
Naabutan ko yan, sir. Yung hype yan. Hype siya noon si Pentium 4. Kasi...
So, yan. So, doon siya na umupo. So, sinabihan ako ng boss ko, umuwi daw muna ako. Kasi nga, may nag-work doon sa computer ko. So, wala akong work nung day na yon kasi may nag-work sa station ko. So, umuwi ako. Di wala akong sahod. So, nung kinabukasan, nandun pa rin siya. Tapos, pumasok ako. Tinanong siya anong ginagawa niya.
Oh.
So, sabi niya, nagpo-program daw siya ng POS. Point of sales. So, ano yung ginagawa mo niya? Tinanong ko siya kung anong program yung POS. Sabi niya, ano yun? Visual Basic 6 way back. So, nakakatawa nga. Kasi nga, yun. Di tinanong ko ulit siya. Marami akong tanong. And then, until dumating doon sa punto na tinanong ko kung magkano bayad sa kanya. Kasi freelance daw siya. Sabi niya, 50K daw. 50K, that was...
malaki yun dati.
2004? 50K. Parang nagulat ako. Ang laki nito 50K. So, ang ginawa ko, nag-ipon ako ng pera, pambili ng libro. And then, inaral ko yung code na ginawa niya. Doon sa computer ko, binubuksan ko, and doon ako natuto mag-programming.
Galing, grabe. So, yun pala ang motivation for transitioning to IT. Transitioning to programming.
Yeah. And, another, nung nag-abroad pa ako, hindi ko pa nagamit yung natutunan ko. Nag-abroad pa ako as AutoCAD pa din. Pero doon ko nakita, nung nasa abroad na ako na yung pagbo-boom ng internet and jobs online. So, doon, nag-aral ulit ako ng PHP, WordPress. So, pagbalik ko galing abroad, nag-try ako mag-apply as web designer. Natanggap naman ako. That's my starting point talaga na nasa IT ako. Simula noon, hindi na ako naalis sa IT.
Ang galing. So, basically, it's a career shift somehow.
Yes.
Hindi ka na sir bumalik sa AutoCAD.
Hindi na.
IT all the way na.
Marunong pa rin naman ako kahit konti. Pero marami nang
Baka sir, magawan mo ng AI yung AutoCAD. Baka, AI ni nag-AutoCAD or something like that.
Nag-AI rin ako, pero iba yung ginagawa ko.
Anyway, sir, sige, just to be clear, baka meron tayong mga listeners. I'm pretty sure marami dito is familiar na sa IT na word. Pero just for a broader audience, ano nga ba talaga ang ibig sabihin ng IT? And you mentioned kasi that you also worked as DevOps. Yung DevOps, lagi ko narinig yan. Parang medyo sa mga developer groups, especially mga student groups, no? Parang I always hear DevOps. I know the meaning of the acronym, pero hindi ko alam parang ano talaga siya. Oo. So, maybe, sir, maliwanagan mo naman kami. Ano ba talaga IT? Ano ba talaga ang DevOps? Ano ba talaga itong mundong to?
Alright, sige. So, IT is information technology. So, when we say information, so, usually, the flow of information, so,
Data.
Data. Broad yan. Kasi, there's hardware, there's software. As long as you use technologies, that's called information technologies, like in the electronics engineer. So, they're still under IT kasi sila yung gumagawa ng mga antena, yung mga pero hardware yon. So, medyo broad yung IT pag sinasabi ng IT. Kaya nga, nandun yung IT Philippines kasi hindi lang siya para sa hardware, hindi lang siya para sa software, hindi lang siya para sa technical support. It's yung buong umbrella ng technology, which is information technology. Hindi siya computer science. So, yun. So, yun yung IT.
So, ang computer science pala you could say na parang medyo under IT, no? Mas focus ang ComSci sa coding and the math.
Coding, coding,
algorithm,
designing, architecture ng software. Yun, computer science yun. So, they can still part of may mga hardware din kasi minsan yung software kailangan mong i-upgrade because hardware you need to upgrade because of the software, hindi kaya ng software. That's the reason why we have AI right now, not in the 1980s kasi yung technologies ngayon is better than the 1980s.
Sila, GPUs, sila NVIDIA.
So, yun.
Sige, so yung IT, yung DevOps, sir, DevOps.
DevOps naman, that's my career shift naman from being web designer to web developers to DevOps.
Okay.
So, DevOps is a little bit broad ulit in terms of meaning. But the goal of DevOps first is to remove silos and deliver value faster to the customers. DevOps. Yun yung pinaka goal ng DevOps. Remove silos. So, it's more of operational and mindset than a technical. So, ang naririnig kasi natin right now, mostly sa mga na misconceptions right now sa DevOps is a technical. Automation, CI/CD, those are words na nakakabit kay DevOps. DevSecOps, GitHub Actions, Jenkins tools, Kubernetes, those are tools for the DevOps operations.
Ang DevOps, sir, is development, tama ba? And operations.
Operations. Okay. So, let me give you an example. How does the meaning of removing silos and delivering faster to the customers? So, sample dito. Merong developers, merong QA, merong operations, system admin. Hiwa-hiwalay sila na team. So, the reason why na medyo mabagal yung delivering of the value because of those hiwa-hiwalay na team. So, tinatawag natin na silos. So, para ma-remove natin yung silos na yan, pagsamasamahin natin sila as a team. So, instead of developers team, QA team, operations team, system admin team, security team, pagsamahin natin sila into one cohesive team, that's called DevOps. So that's why it's combinations. So isang buong team sila. So once na bakit natin pinagsasama-sama? Una, parang yung communication between them, before, may silos, meron tinatawag na, meron word din wall of confusion. So wall of confusion, ito yung barrier between teams na lilipat. Halimbawa, si DevOps, si Dev, ang gusto niya na mangyari is yung gawa niya, kaya niyang baguhin anytime, flexible siya. Si operations naman, gusto niya stability. So, para magkaroon ng stability and magkakaroon ng fluidity, pagsamahin natin sila para mag-usap sila, para magkapareho sila ng goal. Kasi kung maghiwalay sila, magkahiwalay yung goal nila, magkahiwalay yung process nila, magbabanggayan, kaya pabalik-balik yung work, patagal yung work. That's the reason why we have to remove the silos. And we can deliver the value to the customer faster.
But when you say DevOps, sir, or when you say you work as DevOps, part ka nung, you still have a specific function doon, yung security, yung QA, or ikaw yung parang manager ng buong flow nung development na yun?
Okay. Sa my current role as DevOps coach, my role coach.
Okay.
So it's different. So there are DevOps engineer, there's the platform. So para ma-deliver mo yung value to the customer faster, there's technically no DevOps role. There's a DevOps mindset lang. So walang DevOps engineer. A DevOps engineer is actually a software engineer who is practicing DevOps principle.
And then, so it's a principle. It's more of a principle
and practice mindset. So yun. So there is no also DevOps team. DevOps team is actually the team that composed of people who are delivering the value to the customers. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng DevOps team. Now, bakit meron pa rin tayong hiring na DevOps engineer, platform engineer, SRE? Those are breakdown ng umbrella ng DevOps, or that's part ng umbrella ng DevOps. So DevOps engineer is basically a developers or software engineer who knows the tools of DevOps also. So sila yung nagpe-perform sila yung nag-create ng mga templates like CI/CD template, Jenkins template, Groovy, sila yon. Sila yung, kaya tinatawag silang engineer kasi they are the one who created those flow para magkaroon ng automations para mas mabilis yung delivery. So those are the DevOps engineer. So yun. So my role as DevOps coach is to find that gaps, to assess that team in order for them, o ano yung kailangan sa buong team, na ano yung kulang sa kanila, and then help them to achieve that with that goal.
Firstly, ngayon ko rin natutunan ito, sir. So, somehow pala yung DevOps engineer, it's also like, just to give the analogy, somehow parang siyang process engineer, but for the software development. Kasi to make it smooth, to make it efficient, to make it connected. And si coach, yung parang somehow manager din siya ng buo kasi...
ang tawag sa kanila enablement.
Okay.
So, hindi siya manager. He works with the delivery manager. So, hindi siya talaga mismong nagde-deliver. Siya lang yung nag-assess. Meron kasing assessment, DevOps assessment. So, dito pumapasok yung nasan yung gaps, capability gaps ng buong team. Kasi hindi yung DevOps engineer nagko-code ka lang. So, it's capability gap. So, ano yung gaps sa DevOps? Kasi, in DevOps, meron tayong tinatawag na three-way of DevOps. Flow, so principle of flow, feedback loop, and continuous learning. So, sa flow, yun yung aayusin mo yung team. So, once maayos mo yung team, maayos mo yung flow, next is ayusin mo yung automation. I-automate mo lahat ng areas na pwede mong i-automate. So flow din yan. Next is yung feedback. So feedback loop. So once na na-automate mo na, kailangan mo ng feedback loop. So every aspects of your pipelines, we call it pipelines, merong feedback loop. So kung tao man yan, it needs to have a feedback from one person to another person. So dito pumapasok yung Kanban, Agile, kasama yan sa under yan ng umbrella ng Agile is DevOps is under ng umbrella ng Agile. So yun, medyo malawak na.
Yeah, but I'm getting it's parang siyang, well, basically it's a principle for software development for fast rin talaga para mas maka-deliver fast ng value. Pero ang pinaka-curious ako dito, Sir Rowell, so this was also self-taught, no? So you also self-studied itong DevOps. Pero siguro just to continue the story, you mentioned you were a website developer. Paano ka fully nag-aral and na-build yung career into being a DevOps coach? Kasi I believe, maybe correct ko rin sa startups, pero I believe you worked also in corporate or meron ka rin bang na pagtrabahuhan ng mga smaller businesses or maybe startups. So maybe pa-share lang, sir, ng iyong journey.
Interview pa ito?
Job interview.
Interview na. Okay. Sige.
Sir, I mean, pero just to be lang, kasi it's inspiring din to for other people. Lalo na yung mga yung mga nag-career shift, kumbaga. And especially yung mga from another discipline, field, pero they want to start a tech startup to be into tech. And they really want to learn. So I think parang makakuha din tayo dito ng inspiration or ng lessons from your journey.
Yeah. All right. Sige. So, I started as web designer way back 2010. So it's a US company na meron dito sa Pilipinas.
Okay.
So it's actually CMS. We do CMS lang.
Content management.
Content management.
System.
Pero sarili lang CMS. So yun. Di ko nababanggitan yung pangalan ng company, but that's way back 2010.
But how did you find that company? How did you find the job?
Galing akong ibang bansa. Doon na ako, nag-apply
so may
na
connection.
ako. Pauwi pa lang ako, nag-apply na ako. So, pagdating ko dito, sakto naman na 2 days after kung dumating, nag-interview. yung office namin din sa may Eastwood. So, sa Eastwood. So,
parang alam ko na yan. Ano may?
So, yun. Ginawa ko kasi wala nga akong background sa IT, di ba? Nag-self-taught lang ako. Doon ako sa abroad, nag-aaral lang din ako. So, my first way para makapasok is gumawa ko ng simple website. As in HTML, CSS website lang. Tapos hindi ko pa nga na-launch yun kasi di ako marunong mag-hosting, di ako marunong mag-launch na. So, nilagay ko lang sa CD. Tapos,
CD. Wala na yan ngayon.
Wala na. Nilagay ko lang sa CD. And then, during the interview, tinanong ako kung marunong ako. So, sabi ko, marunong ako sa CD, HTML, CSS. So, CMS lang pala yung ginagawa nila. Hindi ko naman alam ng CMS. So, pinakita ko yung gawa ko.
From the CD?
From the CD.
I mean, live nila plinay?
Hindi, may bitbit akong laptop ko, sarili ng laptop. Okay. So, sinaksak.
Pero, I mean, isigit ko na, sir, that's nice, no? Kasi ngayon ang portfolio, papakita mo yung portfolio mo online. Dati, portfolio mo nasa CD.
Hindi ko kasi di ko alam kung paano mag-hosting dati. So, that's my first time. So, yun, pinakita ko sa CD. Pinasaksa ko lang sa computer ko, tapos pinakita ko yung website ko. So, natuwa naman yung nag-interview sa akin. Natanggap ako. So, that's my first time na natanggap ako. So, web designer for 2 years. Lipat-lipat pa ng ibang company. And then, I didn't know na what I do is actually DevOps. Kasi DevOps is actually around 2008 pa lang nag-originate yun. So 2010 na ako pumasok. So hindi ko alam na DevOps pala yung ginagawa ko. But some of my clients, some of my work, kasi nag-freelance din ako on the side before.
For who, sir? For who? Medyo buzzword ng freelance eh. So,
freelance.
Paano ka nag-freelance noon?
So, have you heard of Upwork?
Yes.
Before Upwork, ang pangalan niyan, Odesk.
Yes.
So, I do Odesk before.
While you have the full-time? While you have the...
I will still have a full-time. So, apply ako sa Odesk. May mga clients ako. So, yun, doon ko natutunan yung mga deployment, na mag-transfer ng file from local to server, so FTP. So, hindi ko alam na DevOps na pala yung ginagawa ko. But, that's manual. Sobrang manual. Kopyahin ko yung file from local, open ko yung FTP, FileZilla, if you're familiar. So, upload ko yon. So, pag nag-break, kailangan ulit.
I remember that, sir. Kasi actually yung father ko medyo ganun din yung ginagawa.
So, hindi ko alam na ganun pala yung DevOps. Sabi ko, meron kayang way na para i-automate tong process na to. So, walang way. So, naghahanap ako ng mga ways na, so meron na gumagawa ko ng mga scripts. So, a shell script para na-automate ko. That's piqued my curiosity into DevOps. Sabi ko, ito pala yung, pero hindi ko alam. Nalaman ko lang na DevOps yung ginagawa ko mga around 2014, 2016. So, ino-automate lang pala ganito. Ito pala yung buzzword na DevOps. But I still continue as a software engineer, not a DevOps. So, by 2016, I created a company called Rocket Host. And yeah, I did create a Rocket Host. It's actually a consulting business for automating the process. Kasi dati walang automation, mostly pag nag-create ka ng server sa mga small business company, it's usually you use cPanel, webmail, mga ganyan. But I do automate na mga ganong before. So I offer that. Okay naman siya. The problem is medyo ako lang yung nag-work, nahihirapan ako. So that's why I have to close it 2020. But I still have clients na
hanggang 2020. So matagal-tagal din siya.
mga 4 years.
Okay.
So and then but before that, nagko-consulting din ako. So mga clients, so nagko-consultant ako about automations kasi dito nakakapag-save yung company kapag meron kang automations and naintindihan mo yung gaps ng tao mo with DevOps. So doon naging trajectory ko. So consult from being web designer, developers, to software being engineer, to higher level about delivery, about cost optimizations. Kasi yan ng DevOps. So, doon ko natutunan.
And now, I fully, and not yet fully, pero I understand much of it now. Si DevOps, parang siya yung execution ng actual delivery of any software project, kumbaga, to a client. Yung talagang, hindi lang siya coding, but yung mismong up to deployment. And to make it faster. So, you can automate a lot of stuff there. Kasi it's a process eh. And when you built nga si Rocket Host, parang na-realize ko tuloy ngayon, may startup opportunity pa rin hanggang ngayon eh. I think parang somehow meron pa rin big startup opportunity here na you can be a startup like Rocket Host na or like a consulting na pwede ka mag-optimize ng mga dev processes, DevOps nga sa iba't ibang kumpanya. Maybe, what do you think of that?
Yeah. Right now, sa mga big enterprise company, they already have adopted DevOps. So most of them are actually hiring DevOps coach to optimize their team.
You can be a fractional DevOps coach or like parang you coach multiple companies, no?
Yeah, actually yes. I do hope na may mga nanonood sa atin dito. Hello. So actually enterprise level meron na silang ganong role. So the only thing is mostly automations pa lang sila, wala pa doon yung capability building, gaps analysis. So, those are, pasok kasi sa doon sa agile management. So, parang may overlap between agile and the DevOps. So, like, iterations, iterative approach sa agile yon. Sa DevOps naman, we call it, batch size delivery, small batch size delivery. So, those automation and then focus on the automations instead of people. But in DevOps kasi people, organizations, teams, and the software itself you deliver. Meron ng buzzword dyan BVSSH. better value, sooner, safer, happier. The happier part is not just customers, but also the team that work on it.
BVSSH. Pero I mean, that actually means it's holistic, no? Parang
Holistic
talaga
approach. So, yun holistic approach ng
Ah.
DevOps.
Oh, and actually, this is still a very rich, kumbaga, space now, si DevOps. And who knows, baka, I mean, companies, startups can even adopt this, and coaches nga can still,
Actually, may mga, if you read the Phoenix projects or the DevOps handbook, mostly, ang una talaga nag-adapt ng DevOps is yung mga startups. So, medyo late nga lang.
Kasi to make it fast Startups, very fast
Medyo late na nga lang sa Pilipinas, but in other countries like US and UK or Europe areas, startups start with the DevOps practices kasi their team is lean, so they can communicate faster because minsan 3-2 tao lang. So that's basically startups. That's basically DevOps already. So, and then the automation part, hindi ganun kahirap kasi nga startup. So, ilan lang yung mga, pag nag-build sila ng mga prototype nila, isang back-end, front-end, database, API connector. So, and then yung mga tools, yung mga off-the-shelf tools na madaling makuha, hindi na gumagamit ng pahirapan tools like Jenkins. Jenkins kasi pang enterprise level na yan. But GitHub Actions is mas cheaper and mas faster to integrate, especially if you're startups. Here in the Philippines, they're also doing DevOps na rin, mga team. So, and right now, with the SaaS, so especially yung mga Railway, Vercel, Netlify, Heroku. Heroku is one of the oldest OGs sa pagdating sa DevOps practices. So, they're already creating CLI, yung command line interface na mas mabilis yung deployment with just the developers lang.
In today's digital world, your organization needs more than just technology. It needs a strategic partner. At Symph, we build web and mobile apps that drive innovation for startups, enterprises, and organizations worldwide. Visit symph.co today. Trust the digital future with Twala. Secure and tamper-proof digital signature. Electronic notarization service. And custom AI agents for intelligent document workflows. Visit twala.io to learn more.
Oo nga. Ang dami mong pwedeng, I think this is very broad. First of all, ang dami mong pwedeng automate as a startup. I mean, yung buong AI, yung buong Claude, I think it's parang automating DevOps Yung buong yun, no? So, yeah, I think, kumbaga, nag-start kasi siya na machine, you're really coding from a machine, really writing the code step by step, pero right now, nade-develop na yung mga no-code and yung mga drag and drop, etc. And ngayon, now may AI na bigay mo idea, concepts, information, knowledge, and then it will make a software for you.
Actually, yung future ng DevOps is actually AI Ops. So, AI with AI operations na. So, most of your pipelines, instead of just doing one of these pipelines as manual pipelines, do the AI pipeline. So every part of your delivery pass to the AI pipeline. That's why it's called AI Ops.
Grabe, ang daming this is very so pero I think let's jump muna sir sa yung sa Facebook group sa IT Philippines since 2020 kasi Rocket Host was until 2020 and then you started this na. So ano sir yung story nga nitong IT Philippines? Well, kanina before the recording na-mention mo na yung mga naging problems. Pero now, na siya? Thousands of posts a day. Grabe, sobrang dami. 6 digits of members. So, how did you build? Ano yung mga naging challenges that you had to overcome? And how do you manage? Kasi right now, actually, why I invited you din sir dito sa podcast? Kasi I was looking for more communities na related sa startups. And nakita ko nga sa IT Philippines. And when I went there, ang gaganda ng mga posts, valuable. Yung ibang mga Facebook groups kasi, napuno na ng mga spam or parang hindi na moderate, I believe si IT Philippines na moderate na maayos pa rin. And ang daming mga IT projects, I think from students nga even yung iba or from like individual developers na they're developing IT projects, software projects, and some of them are actually viable commercially. Pwede nilang pagkakitaan or pwedeng ibenta as a service. So, ano sir yung philosophy din dito sa pagbuo ng community and ano yung story? Maybe you can just share everything there is to IT
Yeah.
Philippines.
So building a community, it's just happened na I don't know how it grow. Maybe Facebook helped it, but there's a way where we build the community actually. Nung nag-start na siyang nagkaroon ng traction yung community, dati pabara-bara lang din kaming approve kung ano-ano yung ina-approve namin, ano-ano mga post. But nagkaroon ng actually nung after mga 2 to 3 years na umabot sa mga 300,000 to 400,000, nagkaroon ng stall because of na penalty kami ni Facebook, ni Meta, kasi yung mga post namin, mga admin kami na penalty kami, so mas matagal yung punishment talaga, no? Penalty time kapag admin. So, inaral namin ano yung mga policy ni Facebook. Marami siyang mga policy. Una, bawal yung mga adult contents, bawal yung mga image na may mga copyright. Minsan mga music, minsan mga ang dami lang.
And you mean this policy, ito yung parang automated policy ni Facebook sa pag-flag and pag-penalty nga ng mga groups, no?
Minsan nga dati nape-penalty kami na yung nag-post lang yung isang member ng group na logo lang ng isang company na kilala naman yung company na penalty kami doon. So, hindi naman, actually, si Facebook kasi medyo,
bot kasi yung nag-check, sa kanila eh.
vague kasi yung si Facebook minsan. So, inaral, tapos gumawa kami ng mga filter. So, pinifilter.
Automatic filter?
Automatic filter.
Dinev off din yung Facebook group. By the way, sir, wait lang. Yung penalty, ano yung sabi na penalty? Ibaban ba yung group? Iko-close ba siya temporarily? Ganun ba?
Hindi. Right now, kaya nakita mo si IT Philippines, maybe because you've been targeted by the Facebook algorithm. So, yun. But kung na-penalty ka, hindi mo makikita yon. So, makikita mo.
Pero working pa rin yung Facebook group. Hindi lang makikita ng iba.
Hindi makikita. Kasi makikita mo yon, yung views mo pababa. And then, kasi may may analytics yan eh. Tinitingnan ko yung analytics lagi. So, kami mga admin. So, pag may nakita ko, ito, dinodecimate. Meron kaming GC naman, mga admin.
How many ang admin, sir?
So, meron, I think, 6 kami.
Pero 6, covering thousands of posts every day? Kasi may filter din automatic.
May mga filter automatic. Yung mga pumasa naman, automatic approve yan. Walang problema yan. Kasi may filter kami. Yung mga hindi na-approve, o minsan kahit yung mga ina-approve namin, bumabalik kay Meta, bumabalik sa amin yan, nakalagay as spam. Dinidelete na namin automatic yan. Kasi kahit i-approve pa namin yan, i-spam ulit na Facebook.
Yung filter, paano nyo yung ginawa? Meron ganun ba sa Facebook talaga? Or you coded it, you scripted it?
Walang coded kasi sa Facebook.
Okay.
Merong admin assistant. As admin, meron mga filter doon, kung ilan yung characters.
So yung pag nag-post yung mga tao, diba pupunta mo na siya doon sa parang approval for admin. So if filter doon, automatically pag hindi kasama sa filter, wala na. Pero pag pasado sa filter, tsaka i-approve pa isa-isa.
So pag pumasa ka doon sa filter, automatic approve yan. Pag hindi ka pumasa, mapupunta sa amin yan.
Gets. Okay. Pero this is actually, it sounds so basic, no? Pero this can set apart yung mga Facebook groups na talagang gumana. Kasi, ulitin ko lang, many Facebook groups, ako rin actually, to be honest, kaya ayokong gumana ng Facebook group. Kasi I'm afraid na mapabayaan lang siya, mapuno lang ng mga spam, hindi ko ma-manage. believe ako sa mga Facebook group na kasing laki like this and valuable pa rin yung mga content. And I think it sounds so basic, yung filtering, yung moderation, yung admin, pero there's a lot of thought actually that's been put into it and actually manual work, manual approval na if wala ito, yung ginawa ninyo na filters, wala yung admins, for sure, IT Philippines will be just another Facebook group na puno ng mga spam, etc. And I believe, kasama din dito, sir, yung siguro may obsession, or parang hindi obsession, parang may passion ka rin dun sa to keep the community alive kasi binabantayan mo nga yung views eh. What do you think?
Yeah. Isa sa mga reason why siguro active and alive yung Facebook is because I am passionate talaga sa community din, sa pag-help ng tao. At the same time, kapag nakita ko na hindi masyadong nagkiklik yung mga, halimbawa, wala masyadong nag-i-engage, gumagawa ko ng mga post na engaging.
Para may interaction.
Para may interaction. So, actually, my post alone sa Facebook group or my own post is around 3 to 4 million views per month. So, for the engagement lang. So, I need to make sure na mag-i-engage. Pero, yung buong FB group, yung IT Philippines group, nasa around 15 million views yan. So, yung engagement. So, minsan, gumagawa ko ng mga controversial post para lang magkakaroon ng engagement. Kasi, Facebook likes engagement, like emotional engagement, unlike YouTube, unlike LinkedIn.
YouTube din, I think may ganun, sir, LinkedIn ata wala masyado. Pero I think YouTube parang ganun din.
Yeah. So, yun.
Pero Facebook talaga ang ganun.
Facebook kailangan mo engagement. Kunting tweak mo lang na words, sigurado yan. May engagement.
Pero nakukuhimayin ko, sir, no? I think number 1, yung obsession, not obsession, pero yung really, gusto mo talaga ma-build yung community engaged community. Not just volume, not just number, but engaged nga yung mga tao. Number 2, I think engagement, that you have to ensure na may active posts, may it be sa'yo or sa others na nagda-drive ng interaction. Number 3, I think malaking bagay pa talaga yung filtering kasi baka na-underestimate yun ng ibang tao na gumagawa ng Facebook groups. 1,000 posts a day, grabe, how do you manage that?
4,000.
So, 4,000, grabe. So, you really have to automate somehow, no? Talagang automatic filtered out yung mga talagang spam. And then, yung mga may value, meron pa rin talagang, masasala pa rin talaga. But sir, yung mga So, sige, ano yung mga engaging or interactive na posts? Ano yung posts yung mga talagang pasok dito?
So, usually, mga post ko na pasok na umaabot sa mga 100K, yung 100K to 100K yung engagement is usually mga salary, controversial post. Minsan, meron tayo, may mga ginagawa ko mga contrarian post. So, usually, yung mga contrarian post is yung epoch the bear. Yung the consciousness of the people who's actually doing it. So, you have to do a contrarian post. Usually, doon yung nag-i-engage. Minsan, magiging parang masama ka sa mata nila because of those posts. But that's basically how you create engagement and how you create engagement and views on your group, and it grows. And then sundutan mo ng ibang mga post na educational naman kasi usually pag mga educational binababa ni Facebook, especially pag you talk about education lang directly, no, but try tweak it into like emotional part.
And then gawin mo, sir, or for others din, emotional yung pasok. And then pag na-hook nga yung mga tao, tsaka educational.
Oo, ganun nga ginawa. So, meron ka, kaya nababari yung post ko. Minsan, parang makikita ng mga viewers na yung post ko kahapon is more on against, now it's more on pro. So, may ganung
Devil's advocate lang din talaga. Or parang,
so, yeah.
Pero yung balik ko lang sir yung una, no, yung sa salary. I mean, ang ganda lang na. I think yun naman talaga din. Well, many career shifters nga into IT are curious about salary level. So, and I think ngayon medyo vague pa rin eh. Parang, number one, vague. Number two, malaki naman kasi talaga ang salary sa IT. So, I understand why, why marami talaga ang curious about that. How about sir yung post ng community, ng mga tao? Like, ano usually ba post nila yung nakakaengganyo nga ng engagement?
Yeah, may mga post na memes na especially millennials. Not millennials, Gen Z. Gen Z. Usually memes na madaling maintindihan. So, one post image, umaabot ng millions yun. So, mga ganyan, mga post. So, ganyan. So, inaalaw ko yan, especially kung IT related.
IT memes.
IT memes naman. Pero kung mga walang kwentang memes, tinatagal ko yan.
Yung mga sir, actually yung pinaka nakikita, baka naka-algorithm din sa akin. Ang pinaka nakikita ko, not yung mga memes actually, sometimes I see your posts. Pero yung mga yung mga people nga na nagpo-post ng projects nila. Yung inspiring Tsaka I think baka connected sa Startup Podcast. Parang nag-scout, gusto ko mag-scout doon ng mga pwedeng ma-invited sa podcast eh. Na parang, yun yung mga nakita ko lagi na recently, yung mga they developed an app, they developed a software project, etc. And they want to share it to the community, etc.
Yeah, actually I allowed that. Although meron kami sa Facebook, namin, sa rules namin, bawal yung walang paalam sa admin na mag-post ng mga, but inaalaw ko yung mga ganyang post like nagpo-promote ng mga ang tawag diyan is indie hackers or indie developers. So inaalaw ko 'yan kasi malay mo kumikita sila, nakakatulong kasi it's part of the community, di ba? So yung iba nagagalit kasi bakit daw ito na lang
yung padala hindi, yung sa iba ganun.
Nagagalit sila kasi minsan, hindi ko ina-approve. And the reason why I didn't approve kasi nga, yung may mga link na nilalagay nila sa post nila. Facebook kasi don't like links na lalabas ka sa Facebook. So,
alam niya ng rules ng IT Philippines. Huwag mong ilagay ng outside link.
Huwag mo outside link. Doon mo lagay sa comments. So, yun. And the other thing is, paulit-ulit na post. So, same picture, same message, same lahat. Pag pinopost nila ulit yan, magiging spam yan. Isang beses mo lang i-post yan, magiging spam yan. So, if you wanted to promote on Facebook or IT Philippines group, you need to keep posting new content, new image, everything is new para hindi siya magmukhang spam. Kasi, isang beses mo lang ipopost yan sa lahat. Halimbawa, kasi nagpo-promote ka nga, wala kang pera, magbo-bootstrap ka, post mo sa lahat ng mga group, same message, same lahat. Pag nangyari yan, automatic yung flag ni Facebook na spam. So, ang gagawin mo, iba-ibang post, iba-ibang groups.
I'm learning techniques.
Techniques yan. So, wag yung isang post lang. So, that's why, ako, nagpo-post ako, kahit every post is new content, new image, lahat. Kasi pag hindi yan mag-click.
Tsaka sir, this is a very valuable kasi yung honestly ganun din ako dati, yung thought ko na spam post sa maraming groups, pero come to think of it, lahat ng pinapostan ko, wala naman mga viewers dyan yung mga patay na yung mga Facebook group kasi wala nga nag-moderate. Pag-post ko na lang ng isang special sa isang active na Facebook group, mas marami ka pang value na makuha, mas marami ka reach na makuha, di ba? Kaya sa mag-spam post ka, actually nagsayang ka na ng, akala mo may napapala ka pero hindi pala. Mas maganda yung create a content for one specific group na maraming viewers and then post it there and then get
Actually, yun din yun. I do some spamming din minsan sa ibang group.
Spamming.
Yeah. So, may mga patay na grupo nga talaga.
Marami sir, marami.
So, I don't know, pero here in the Philippines, I used to be member of the groups ng iba't ibang grupo, but yung group nila hindi na ganoon ka-active, and one of the reason is they're posting yung mga members lang nila kung ano nila pinopost and then they didn't curate.
Yes, yes. Parang na-inspire tuloy na, parang well, first of all, thank you sir, daming natutunan about Facebook group building, community building. Kasi yun nga, dati takot akong gumawa ng Facebook group kasi I'm really afraid na mapapabayaan lang. Parang magiging bad pa yung reputation kasi yung Facebook group ng startup podcast, wala na. Pero I think it really takes effort, right? First of all, I think passion to build the community. Second, of course, effort to filter, to approve, yung talaga actual manual work na part noon. And third, I believe, Sir Roel, tinadi ninyo yung algorithm din ni Meta nga, ni Facebook nga na somehow nahanapan din ng way na maging, na ma-play and ma-work around siya para maging okay yung grupo.
The other thing na nakita ko, na kita ko sa Facebook is kung anong oras ka nagpo-post. Merong oras yan. So, pero depende sa grupo mo. Kasi on our group, ang pinaka-peak hours namin is 12 noon and then around 7 ulit. Mga 11.
At yeah. Sure, 12 noon.
Yeah, magpipick yan.
Nagla-lunch break kasi mga tao, no? Tsaka 7 p.m.?
7 p.m. So, ang ginagawa ko, magpupost ako ng 7 a.m. and pupost ako ng 7 p.m. Kasi, yung peak nung gabi is mga 11 p.m. Yung peak na umaga, 12 p.m.
12 noon.
12 noon. So, magpupost ako ng 7 and 7 ng gabi din.
Para naka-post na siya.
So, makasabay yung post mo sa peak hours hanggang
ganun ba yun? Ganun pala yun.
So, yun yung mga ginagawa kong post. Kaya, minimum post ko. And although, I know this one is, yung iba kasi, normal na lang sa kanila yung millions views, but 100,000 views every, 50,000 views na sa isang post mo. Malaki na rin yun. Para sa akin, na yun.
Ito sir, have you thought about being, you mentioned pala kanina nagte-TikTok ka, no? Pero, and you mentioned kasi yung parang gagawa ka ng mga, yung mga sundot na post and then educational. Have you thought about being like more of a group builder but also an influencer? Wow. Yung parang, TikTok, YouTube. Talaga meron kang regular na reels, na clips, na maybe start with maybe TikTok, 1 minute. Start with very controversial IT stuff and then the rest is educational. What do you think about that?
Actually, I do that. It's just matagal yung build. Yung mga educational na ganon. Even in YouTube and Facebook and TikTok, technical, usually mababa yung views niyan. Kasi if you look at sa Facebook, mga sayaw-sayaw, yun yung mga millions.
Yes, magsayaw-sayaw ka rin. Tapos bilang IT education. Hindi, joke lang.
So, yung sumasayaw-sayaw lang, pranking, yun yung mga laging nagtitrending sa Facebook eh. And even in
IT pranks?
IT pranks. Pero, so, hindi ganun ka...
Yeah, gets.
So, hindi ganun ka yung video. So, nag-iisip nga ako ng paraan kung paano i-bring yung ideas ng mga pranking.
Yes, sir. I'll give kung gaano ka niche yung technology somehow compared sa mga prank comedy. Well, just to give an analogy, tsaka magyabang na rin ng onti ang Startup Podcast. So, naging number 1 recently ang Startup Podcast PH sa Spotify technology. Pero yung listens namin, sobrang onti pa rin compared sa mga, kumbaga yung mga hindi nakakapasok ng comedy or ng horror. Parang pa yun, times 20, times 30 ng views namin. Ganun kaliit ang technology compared sa comedy, entertainment, etc.
Yeah.
So, kung technology nag-number 1 na ang Startup Podcast, kung gusto ko makapasok sa yung top 200 sa Spotify, kailangan ko mag-times 100 views. Times, ganun kaliit. I mean, pero at the same time, ang dali mag-number 1. I mean, madali makuha yung niche kung nakuha mo yung niche. Pero kung gusto mo ng broader, general entertainment, ibang usapan talaga yun.
Kasi may mga pina-follow ako ng mga sa YouTube kasi, ang mga pina-follow ko is mga technology. So, Numberphile,
Numberphile, yes, I know that.
Numberphile, Veritasium.
Yes, Veritasium.
Cleo Abra.
Sila $3, sila ano yun?
NKVD.
Ayun din. Yeah, I know that.
NKVD. So, yeah, I do follow NKVD. Pero NKVD is more on, hindi naman technical siya. Ang mga Veritasium, Cleo Abrams.
Parang science nga sila Veritasium eh. Parang ganun sila.
Science, deep knowledge talaga. Engineering Everyday, Mark Ruber. So, yun yung mga pina-follow ko. And,
sa bagay, no, they made, but speaking of them, they made technology big pa rin.
Big, So, ang mga nakikita ko is low cognitive action. So, yung flow nila, hindi ka mabobore kasi nga, at least for Mark Ruber, low cognitive action. Kasi, pag mataas yung kailangan mo magbag-isip, doon nagkakaroon ng mababa yung views. And even sila sila Veritasium, Derek Mueller, meron silang Facebook. Yung mga views nila nasa mga around 100k lang, 200. And millions na yung followers nila, pero sa Facebook hindi sila makapasok ng ganun kataas.
Yes.
Kasi nga yung topic nila is more of high cognitive load. So kahit anong technical siguro ganun medyo mahirap siya. Unlike Mark Ruber, parang ginagawa niya.
Pero I mean, to be fair sila Veritasium at saka sila Numberphile, very step by step kasi pag-explain nila eh. Maganda yung explanation nila.
Maganda explanation nila. So, high value din and high
at saka captured nila yung attention ng mga matatalino. Anong mga interested na mga tao. Parang makikip talaga yung attention. So, I mean, parang interesting din eh. I mean, maybe nga sir, if you become really a full-time influencer, sa IT. Parang, although it's hard, it's really difficult. Pero interesting din isipan ng way paano talagang makukuha yung attention ng maraming IT people. No?
Actually, yun yung isa sa mga, kaya naman, the problem is yung editing, yung creation.
I can help you with that, sir.
Story building. Kasi, research. Kasi, if you wanted to create technical content, it's well thought and well researched and make it a story that it's really, really low cognitive. It's yung hindi mag-iisip yung tao and they will be entertained.
Yes.
At the same time, nagle-learn sila. Kung hindi mo makuha yung formula na yan, I'm not sure kasi like sila Veritasium, I watched Veritasium for how many years now. Yun yung always ginagawa nila. It's always yung explanation nila sobrang naiintindihan kahit 5 years old.
Yes, yeah. Although deep, pero basic yung pag actually we're about to end then sir share ko lang yung do you know Lex Fridman podcast? Have you heard or have you listened?
I heard pero I'm not
actually isa yun sa mga podcast na na-inspire ako. Pero yung podcast niya mahaba, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours.
Saster.
I haven't. Pero ang tingin ko rin sir collect sila Veritasium din. Nagamatter yung light kasi yung pagka-explain nila eh. Parang it's easy to the ears, no? So nagamatter din yung quality ng video and ng audio. I think na of course factor yung explanation, yung pace, but also yung
yung visual
and the sound quality. So parang you can just educational siya, but you can just iwan mo lang sa tenga.
Numberphile, medyo maano pa nga yun. Ilan lang yung nagpo-follow ng Numberphile.
But I actually follow Numberphile. I love numbers then. I love math.
Meet Lala, a freelancer who chose Gig Genius. Unlike many platforms that make freelancers pay just to apply, Gig Genius was built to put skills first, not spending. No pay-to-apply barriers, no bidding fees, just safer opportunities through dual system verification. Ready to experience the difference? Visit giggenius.io and join Gig Genius today.
Education is evolving, and so are we. Introducing School Tech by Edfolio, your all-in-one school management solution. Built for schools of all sizes, School Tech bridges the gap between school and learning management. Driven by passion, School Tech makes educational technology accessible, affordable, and easy to use for schools everywhere.
With an integrated approach, SchoolTech simplifies management across different departments and enhances efficiency in operations. SchoolTech transforms the way schools manage, teach, and learn. SchoolTech, taking school management solutions to the next level.
Running a business? Make it smarter with Red Circle Global. Streamline operations, boost productivity, and manage everything in one powerful ERP system. Book your free business demo today at redcircleglobal.com. Guided by one of our top experts.
Anyway, sige sir, just to wrap up this conversation, ano nga ba yung nakikita mo pa for IT Philippines moving forward? How do you plan to build it further? Ano pang engagements? Ano pang baka may activities or whatever? Baka may kayo mga networking dito sa White Spaces. Wow. Or ano ba yung nakikita niyo pa for IT Philippines?
Actually, IT Philippines are also offering yung sponsorship. Then, so we're looking for sponsors. And then, right now, we are partners with merong IoT Conference Philippines.
Which one, sir? Which alin yan?
This coming November.
By who?
By IoT Conference Philippines. I forgot nung
Okay.
but the person that to be contacted is Elaine Cedillo. So she's the one doing the mostly mga IT events dito sa Pilipinas. So we're partners ng IT Philippines, and they have events this coming November. So yun. And if they want yung mga company na nasa like tech startups, tools, the IT Philippines is the perfect
May alam mo sir, may naisip po ng business model for IT Philippines. Since you have the bulk or volume of people into tech na meron kasi mga ibang baka ginagawa nyo na, yung parang ads. I mean, you allow them to post sponsor hiring or they have a tech product.
Yeah, meron naman. May mga sponsor kami na.
Ayun yung sponsor.
May sponsor kami. So, merong type na sponsors. Yung one, posting. So, yun yung sponsor for posting. And the other one is comments sponsor. So, yung comments.
Galing.
So, actually,
parang siya candid, no? I mean, parang mukha siyang totoo. Ganun ba yun? Mukha siyang...
nilalagay ko pa.
Nakalagay pa. Okay.
Nilalagay ko pa ng sponsor. Kasi,
okay.
minsan, parang, may isang post na umabot ng millions of views. So, that's viral. So, makikita mo naman pag viral yung post kasi one hour pa lang 100K na yung So, doon kilalagay yung comments.
Galing.
So, yun.
Okay yun. So, startup din pala si IT Philippines.
Yeah, startup siya.
May revenue, may business model din somehow.
May business model naman. So, yeah, we have sponsorship ng tawag na yung partnership.
Partners. So, and I believe these are mga tech, mga IT companies or mga So, baka meron dyan mga ibang IT or tech companies na interested pumasok sa grupo ng IT Philippines. So,
yeah, it has 15 million views a month. And it grows 2,000 to 6,000. Dati nga, nung peak namin, 10,000 a week yung growth niya. Now, nasa around 2,000.
Members. Dami pa rin nun, grabe.
I hope na gano'n kalaki yung
Tsaka ang galing na sir kasi kumakalat kasi I believe mga nag-sharean din yan na mga even mga students, mga coders na check mo tong group na to, then kumakalat. Yeah. Sige sir, if our listeners want to know more about you or IT Philippines, baka merong sponsor or partner or IT person who want to pumasok sa community, to learn, to share, to engage, so how can they know more? How can they join the Facebook group even?
Yeah. Thank you sa pag-invite.
Yes, sir. It's an honor.
Thank you din sa sa partners.
White Spaces.
So, invite ko lang din kayo if you have a knowledge and you wanted to share, join IT Philippines. Share first before you get sponsors or whatever. So, share your knowledge, and then if you wanted to sponsors sa IT Philippines, get knowledge, get our members, then just contact Roel Nopal or one of our IT. May mga admin kami, so yun. So kung sino yung kilala nyo, mas malapit, you just look at the admin space. Yun. And
Ayun. Grabe, thank you very much. Ang ganda natin usapan. Actually, ang ganda ng story nyo. Yung career shifting to IT, yung shinare mo about how you learn about DevOps, how you apply DevOps, and nagkaroon din pala ng Rocket Host. And of course, how you built IT Philippines na Facebook.
Actually, right now, since I'm still in consulting, so I do build another products. It's called VTS.
The one you shared to me din.
Yeah. So it's a transcription. So it actually, yun yung entry point ko. And then I build product. Ang dami ko ng mga binibuild. Hindi ko na matandaan. But right now, the one thing that I build is VTS, video and audio transcription, using AI. And it's also live now live already, and it has an MCP. MCP is, you can use it inside ChatGPT or cloud already.
Tsaka sige sir, we can talk more. I mean, we can feature that as a startup. I mean, and mga iba din from IT Philippines, baka may nakikinig nito from the IT Philippines group. If you have a startup or a tech product, an app, a project na commercially possible, so reach out din kayo sa Startup Podcast PH and we might interview you dito sa napakagandang office ng One Spaces.
Keep posting lang if you're in the IT Philippines. Keep posting lang ng mga projects nyo. I don't mind kung yung iba kasi minsan minsan nagkakaroon ng bias mindset So hindi ko nilalagyan ng gate yon, especially project from our fellow Filipinos, indie hackers, indie developers. So, wag din po kayo magalit sa amin, mga admin.
Tsaka to be fair, 2,000 posts a day. 4,000 posts a day. Talaga may mga type 1 or type 2 error dyan na maganda nga yung post pero ma-reject. So, post na lang ulit.
Yes. So, yun. Wag po kayo magalit sa amin.
Ayun. Sige, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you very much to our 66 patrons. This episode is super powered by AskFlex PH Academy, our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and more. Cloud CFO. Cloud CFO provides expert accounting, tax, and payroll services for SMEs and startups using smart technology to deliver actionable financial insights. Architect Space Solutions. Architect provides ground station services, space data analytics, and technology supplies to grow the Philippines' role in the global space ecosystem. DiviCode Technologies Incorporated, IT solutions specializing in software development, blockchain, smart contracts, digital wallets, and cybersecurity. Argum AI makes smarter decisions by presenting both sides of an issue as argued by two distinct AI models. Pixel by Implement, turn content into opportunity, grow deeper connections, and earn more. Only with Pixel. Sign up at pixel.implement.co. School of Profits, Filipino-led community for aspiring freelancers, VAs, agency builders, and online earners, built to help you start, grow, and earn online together. Founders Launchpad, our ecosystem partner, early stage accelerator providing venture capital funding, operational support, and mentorship. Hire Business Solutions, provider of the most configurable cloud-based payroll system in the Philippines. Agile Data Solutions, the Philippines' fastest growing market insights tech company with its data gathering platform, HustlePH. Smile Checks, streamline hiring and onboarding with automated background checks. Cloverly, all-in-one digital platform for property developers. Body Beauties, accessible and personalized diabetes self-management application. Hyperstocks, digital banking enabler for rural and thrift banks. Wonderbrand, data science-driven brand strategy and design for emerging markets. This episode is powered by Pareto Consulting, Josie AI, Uplift Code Comp, Board Prep, Kanzen Barley, East Point Business Outsourcing Services, Filipina Home-Based Moms, Hex Colony, Jur.ph, Big Giant Games, Pahatid PH, Sugbudok, Agacon Aquafeeds Juan Alj, Grey Wolf Technologies Philippines, Sirius MD. Support the podcast through the link in the description.